Hi everyone. Okay, so today we are doing heredity and evolution. This is the first lesson of Science 2 Maharashtra syllabus. Okay, now in this lesson, heredity and evolution, heredity part we'll have to understand first. So, what is this heredity? See, some of this we have actually done in 9th standard too, but many of you might have already forgotten it. So let's refresh our memories, okay? So heredity, now see, when we compare ourselves with our parents, brothers, sisters, we find lot of similarities like say the height of a person, the color of the eyes, the color of the skin, the hair structure, the color of the hair. So these similarities which we see with our parents or with our brothers, sisters, uncle, aunt, actually they are transmitted through genes. Okay, so these characteristics or traits, they are passed from one generation to another generation via genes. Okay, this is called heredity. Now you must have also heard about variations. Okay, so see, we are not exactly like our parents, nor are we exactly like our brother or sister. This is because due to the errors which occur during the time of DNA copying, some minor changes occur. Okay, so those minor changes causes these variations. Otherwise, what will happen? Everyone will be exactly similar. Of course, we get many people who looks quite similar. Okay, but then still there will be some variation in them, some change, some difference in them. Except of course those twins, we see these sort of variations in people. So this is what is heredity. Okay. Now, see the definition. Heredity or inheritance is the process of transfer of characteristics or traits. Characteristics are also called as traits from one generation to other via genes. Okay. Now, see these traits or these characteristics, they are of two types. One which we call as inherited traits and another one which we call as the acquired traits. Now, inherited traits are like what I told you, the same through via genes, which we acquire via genes, which is passed from one generation to another. So, those characteristics which are passed from one generation to another, they are the inherited characteristics. But then there are some characteristics which we acquire during our lifetime. Now, those are called as the acquired characteristics or the acquired traits. So, what are they actually? Now, for example, knowledge. You study, you learn a lot, you read a lot, and you gain a lot of knowledge. So, that is an acquired characteristics. It does not come by birth. It comes through learning, through hard work. So, those are the acquired characteristics. Another one, for example, some people are very fond of having showing off their muscles. So they do a lot of gymming, regular exercise and develop their muscles. So that is again acquired characteristics. Now see, we live in a world where we have to impress people. So what we do is that we learn to speak well, like in a sophisticated manner. We learn to stand well, we learn to walk well. Means everything has a style. So developing those styles, that is again an acquired characteristics. Hope you have understood this difference between inherited traits and acquired traits. So traits transferred from parent to offspring. They are like skin color, height, color of hair, color of eyeball. Acquired traits developed during one's lifetime. Knowledge acquired through education, muscles developed through regular exercise, style of talking, walking, manners, etc. Okay. Now, just like how we were talking about heredity, what is the need for learning heredity? Why do we need to learn heredity? See, it's very important that we know heredity because Diagnosis and treatment of hereditary disorders. There are many hereditary disorders are there. Okay. So to prevent these disorders and production of hybrid species of plants and animals. Now you must have heard about so many different types of plants, hybrid fruits, hybrid flowers. So this is possible because we are studying heredity. So we are able to understand how to produce this new type of crops. Similarly, there are many disorders actually, not for everyone, but some people have certain disorders, hereditary disorders. So those disorders, they have to be addressed, like they have to be prevented, or they have to be, if it is already there, they have to be cured. So how it can be done, all these we understand through the studying of heredity. Hope you have understood this, all of you. Okay, now you know gene. You have heard a lot about gene. You have done it last year. What is a gene? Now the gene, the segment of DNA which contains all in the information for synthesis of a particular protein is known as gene. So the segment of DNA. Where is DNA? It is in the chromosome, in the nucleus, right? Now the segment of DNA, a small segment of DNA which contains all the information for the protein synthesis, a particular protein synthesis is called as gene. Okay. Now this, why protein synthesis? Why protein synthesis? You know, proteins are actually required for each and every activity of our body. So all the functioning is controlled by the proteins. So that is why we require protein. So for the synthesis of proteins, the information for the protein is there in the genes. Hope you have understood this, all of you. Okay. Now see, we understood why proteins are required. So proteins are needed for carrying out various functions or body processes. So what are the various body processes which the proteins help? Like for example, the metabolism. Okay. Then it gives support to the structure of the body. Okay. It acts as carriers for hormones, and they also act as carriers. They act as hormones, they act as enzymes. So proteins are very important for our body. Okay. Now this is what is important now, the learning of protein synthesis. Okay. How this protein synthesis takes place. So there's a lot of confusion among the kids about the synthesis of proteins. Okay. So we learn it slow but perfectly. Okay. So the process by which the proteins are synthesized are transcription, translation and translocation. Transcription, translation and translocation. Okay. Now see, these are the things which we have done, but once again I am just telling you, information for protein synthesis is located in the deoxyribonucleic acid. So that is the DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, that is the DNA. Now a segment of DNA, that is gene, it actually carries the information about a particular protein. Okay. So there are different types of protein which are required in our body. So a segment of the DNA which is called as gene has the information about a particular type of protein which is required. Okay. Now DNA, the structure of DNA. Okay. DNA, it is a long molecule consisting of two strands that form helical structure known as a double helix. Now all of you must have seen ladder, but here it is not exactly ladder, it's like it's twisted. Okay, a twisted ladder. You can think about a twisted ladder. So this is a structure which you see. This is a helical structure and this is called as double helix. Is this helical structure? It's double helix. Okay. So it has a helical structure. Now how is it made up of? DNA is made up of molecules called as nucleotides. DNA itself is a large molecule and it is again made up of molecules which are called as nucleotides. They are called as nucleotides. Just remember it. Okay. So DNA is made up of molecules which are called as nucleotides. Now each nucleotide is made up of a phosphate group, a sugar group and one of the nitrogen bases. One of the nitrogen bases. There are 4 nitrogen bases. Which are the 4 nitrogen bases? Adenine, cytosine, thymine and guanine. Okay. Adenine, cytosine, thymine and guanine. So here the nucleotide is made up of a phosphate group, a sugar group and one of this. So it can be adenine or it can be cytosine or it can be thymine or it can be guanine. So one of the these are the nitrogen bases. Now just see, adenine will always pair with thymine and cytosine will always pair with guanine. Just remember this always. So here if we see this, if one is guanine, then other one will be thymine. Okay, this is one is guanine, then other one will be cytosine. And if one is thymine, then this one will be adenine. So this pairs are there. Here you see this different colors I have used to show you the pairs. So pairs of what? Nitrogen bases. So this one is like I have shown with guanine. So if this is guanine, guanine will pair with what? Cytosine. Okay. So here again this color I have shown for thymine. Then it will pair with thymine will pair with adenine. So adenine will always pair with thymine and cytosine will always pair with guanine. Hope you have understood this one. So once again, so this is a structure. What is the structure of DNA? It's a double helix, okay, or helical structure. Okay, like I told you, just imagine a ladder and just twist the ladder if you are able to twist it. Okay, so when you twist the ladder, the shape which you get, that is called as double helix. Okay, now this DNA is made up of molecules which are called as nucleotide. The DNA is made up of molecules which is called as nucleotide. Now each nucleotide is made up of one phosphate base, one sugar and one of the nitrogen bases. So how is this nucleotide made up of? Nucleotide contains a phosphate group, a sugar group and one of the nitrogen bases. Which are the nitrogen bases here? Adenine, cytosine, thymine and guanine. Okay, and remember adenine always pairs with thymine and cytosine always pairs with guanine. Okay, so this is I am just giving a simple structure for you to understand. We'll go further into details. Okay, so hope you have understood this much. The RNA, see the difference. What is the difference here? RNA is single stranded. Okay, RNA is single stranded. And one difference which we see, instead of thymine, there it is uracil. Instead of thymine, we have uracil. Hope you have understood this. So the structure of DNA is double helix, or it is having a helical structure. Okay, and it is made up of molecules called as nucleotide. And each nucleotide contains a phosphate group, a sugar group and one of the nitrogenous bases. So which are the nitrogenous bases? Adenine, cytosine, thymine and guanine. So you have to understand one more. Iodine always pairs with thymine. Cytosine always pairs with guanine. When we go to RNA molecules are shorter and single stranded. DNA molecules are long and RNA molecules are shorter and single stranded. Okay. And RNA, you know there are 3 types. You did last year in 9th standard. 3 types of RNA are there. Messenger RNA, ribosomal RNA and transfer RNA. So messenger RNA we write it as mRNA. Ribosomal RNA we write it as rRNA. And transfer RNA we write it as tRNA. Okay. Now you see the structure, it is single stranded. This is double stranded and this is single stranded. And instead of thymine, RNA has what? Uracil. Okay. Here we have thymine and there it is uracil. Hope all of you have understood this much. Now we will go to the functioning, how this happens. The transcription, translation and translocation. How does this take place in the cell? Okay, this is what is very important and which is actually difficult to follow if you don't pay attention. So just listen. Let's learn transcription now. Okay, this is very important part of the synthesis of proteins. Okay, so how does this transcription takes place? So first thing, you understand the definition of transcription. It is a process by which enzymes use one of the strands. So this you remember, one of the strands. Now you know DNA is made up of double strand. Okay, one of the strands of DNA within the gene as a template to produce a messenger RNA. Okay. Now you know that the DNA is highly coiled structure, right? And it is double helix. That structure is called as double helix. Now this, how does this? Now this entire process of transcription, how does this take place? Now you know RNA polymerase with the help of certain proteins binds to a specific sequence within the gene. Okay, so the RNA polymerase with the help of certain proteins bind to a specific sequence within the gene. So suppose a specific sequence, like I told you, it binds to a specific sequence. Okay, hope you understood this well. So what happens here is RNA polymerase with the help of a certain types of proteins are there. So see, you don't have, you are in 9th standard, 10th standard of Maharashtra syllabus, where you don't have too much explanation about it, but this part I am explaining to you is that you should understand what is exactly happening here. Okay, so the RNA polymerase with the help of certain proteins binds to a specific sequence of the gene. So binds to a specific sequence of the gene. Okay, now this much you understood. Now here what happens, when it happens, so they just ply them, they ply them apart or uncoils them. Uncoiling, you know, so uncoiling means it will become like a ladder. Okay, when you uncoil that, it will become a ladder. So that particular segment is uncoiled and it has become like a ladder. Okay, hope you understand this, all of you. So what is happening is that RNA polymerase with the help of certain proteins bind to a specific sequence within the genes. Okay, so this is what has happened. So when they bind, and this is actually called as a promoter. If you study further, you know that this is called as a promoter, which helps in the synthesis of proteins. So here, what work does this do actually? It is actually plying them apart. It is bringing them apart, or it is uncoiling. Okay, so suppose if this is uncoiled, it will become this shape, like a ladder. Okay, now you have earlier done about the nitrogen bases. Okay, so bonded by the hydrogen bonds. So suppose here it is thymine. So you know thymine always bonds with adenine, and adenine always bonds with thymine. Guanine always bonds with cytosine. So this is the bond here: thymine, adenine, adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine, adenine, thymine, cytosine. So this will go on, thousands of this is there. Okay, so bonds are there, this sort of bonds are there. Okay, so now what you are going to learn is that how the messenger RNA is placed. So this, just for example, I'll just show you this. Suppose this is the cell. Okay, this is a cell and this is the nucleus. Okay, so inside the nucleus we have the DNA. Okay, we have the DNA. Okay, so now in this DNA synthesizes messenger RNA. So the messenger RNA is synthesized here. So mRNA, we call it as mRNA, is synthesized, here, and then it comes out. It comes out of the nucleus. The messenger RNA comes out of the nucleus. It comes out of the nucleus. Now we have the rRNA outside the nucleus. Okay, rRNA and tRNA is there outside the nucleus. Okay, so this process where the DNA is synthesizing messenger RNA, this is called as transcription. Okay, this is called as transcription. Okay, this process is called as the transcription. Now it comes out, this messenger RNA leaves the nucleus and it comes out. Okay, and this ribosomal RNA starts moving around the messenger RNA, and the tRNA starts translating. Okay, the ribosomal RNA starts moving around the messenger RNA, and the tRNA starts translating, and amino acids are produced, and many of the amino acids, they come together and they form the proteins. Okay, so this entire process is called as a central dogma. Okay, hope you understood this. This is just a simple way I showed you. This is the cell and this is a nucleus. DNA is there inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, DNA synthesizes messenger RNA. Messenger RNA is synthesized inside the nucleus, and then it comes, once it is synthesized, it comes out of the nucleus, and when it comes out of the nucleus, the ribosomal RNA starts moving around the messenger RNA, and the tRNA starts translating. Okay, translating means reading it. Okay, so this is the simple process which I am explaining to you. This is the simple way by which it is explained. Okay, hope you have understood this. Okay, this is the okay. Let's see now what is exactly happening here. Okay, now here we know how the pairs are formed. They are bordered by the hydrogen bonds. These are the hydrogen bonds. Okay. Now we know how it is the complementary one. Thymine always complements with adenine, adenine complements with thymine, cytosine complements with guanine. So we know that adenine always complements with thymine and cytosine always complements with guanine. Now what we are learning here is that how now the messenger RNA is produced. So now we know that this is the template which is actually used for the formation of template. This is, we call it as a template. This one strand is used. You remember that only one strand is used. So in this process, what the RNA polymerase does is that it breaks this bond. This bond is broken. Okay. So when this bond is broken, what is happening is that now the RNA polymerase starts bringing the complementary nitrogenous bonds. So nitrogenous bases. So let us see which are the nitrogenous bases which are found here. So thymine always complements with adenine. So we will have adenine here, adenine with thymine. But you know, this is RNA which is being formed. So RNA does not have thymine. Instead, what do we have? Uracil. Okay. So here it will be uracil. Okay. And cytosine complements with guanine or bonds with guanine. So it will be G, and adenine with thymine. So again it will be U, and this will be again cytosine with guanine, thymine with adenine, guanine with cytosine, thymine with adenine, guanine with cytosine, adenine with thymine, so it will become uracil, and guanine with cytosine. Okay. Now a bond is formed between this. A strand forms between this. Okay. So now this strand, it will leave here and it will float down. So it is coming out and here it is formed again. Okay. So this will leave from there. So that function is over. The function there, it is over. So we'll just create it here. So this is the mRNA. This is mRNA. Okay. Hope you are able to follow me what I am explaining here. Here you know how this formation has taken place. Okay. Now what is happening? This is leaving, this strand is leaving this place and it is coming down. Okay. So I'll show you how it is shown in the textbook actually. This is little okay. So like this, the nucleotides, the nitrogenous bases. This I am drawing a little bit so that you people will be able to follow it, what exactly I am trying to tell you. Okay. So this will form like this. Okay. This is just a rough drawing for you to understand. Okay. Not a perfect drawing. So just for you people to understand what exactly this is. Okay. Now what is happening is that since this has come down, so we'll just write it down. A, U, G, U, G, A, C, A, C, U, C. It will go on like that. Huh? So now this is gone from here. Okay, when this is gone from here, what will happen? This bond will be created again. This will be rejoined. Okay, and it will become exactly like as it was before, as if nothing has happened. Okay, this will join together and this will become exactly like how it was before. Okay, so this entire thing has changed and it has become like this. Okay, now that is over. That part is over. This part is called as the transcription. This what was happening was called as the transcription. Okay, where this was synthesized. Messenger RNA was synthesized here. That part was called as the transcription. You understood how the transcription was done? Transcribing. Okay. So that was called as the transcription. Now after transcription, what has happened? The messenger RNA has floated out and it has come out of the nucleus. It comes out of the nucleus, and where it is coming out? It is coming out of the nucleus but into the cytoplasm. It is coming out of the nucleus into the cytoplasm. Okay. Now here what is happening now? The ribosomes, they start gathering around this messenger RNA. The ribosome starts gathering around the messenger RNA. Okay. Now this, what you have to understand is the three of those nitrogenous bases together, or the nucleotides together. So each nitrogenous base has one nucleotide. Okay, nitrogenous base, phosphate group and a sugar group together form one nucleotide. Hope you remember, I explained to you earlier, one nitrogenous base, one phosphate group and one sugar. So this together forms one nucleotide. Okay, so here three nucleotides together form the codon. Codon. Codon means what? It is actually carrying a coded message. It is carrying a coded message. Okay. So this, since there are three together, it is called as the triplet codon. Okay, this is one triplet codon, so we'll name it as triplet codon 1. This we can name it as triplet codon 2. This we can name it as triplet codon 3. This, so further if it goes, one more is there suppose. So it will become triplet codon 4. Okay, so you can name it such way. These are called as the triplet codon. So now what does the triplet codon contains? They contain the coded information for a particular protein synthesis. Now they are having amino acids. They have the information about the amino acids. Now see, amino acids again, they are the basic unit of the proteins. Okay. Now the amino acids, there are many amino acids. It's around 20 amino acids in nature. There are 20 amino acids in nature like methionine, lysine, leucine, serine, threonine, like that many tryptophan, glycine. So many are there. You don't have all those to learn for your 10th standard, but just for you to understand, there are 20 amino acids in nature. Now those 20 amino acids can create many proteins, many different types of proteins. Just like you know, we have 26 alphabets in our English language. So those 26 alphabets, you know how many words they create? You take the dictionary, so thick. So many words are there, n number of words are there in the dictionary. Only 26 alphabets are creating so many different words. Similarly, these 20 amino acids create so many different proteins. Okay. So here, these are called as the triplet codons. These are the triplet codons. Okay. And there are thousands of triplet codons. Now one more thing is there. The knowledge about this triplet codon, this was found out by one of the Indian scientists, Hargobind Khurana, and he has been given a Nobel Prize for this research which he has done. Okay. So there are thousands of triplet codons. In one messenger RNA, there are thousands of triplet codon. Hope you have understood till here, all of you, perfectly. Okay. Now what is happening after this? So till here we understood the messenger RNA left the nucleus and came down. Okay, came out into the cytoplasm. So once it comes out into the cytoplasm, what is happening here? The ribosomes gather around the messenger RNA. The ribosomes gather around the messenger RNA. Now next what is happening is that the transfer RNA starts functioning. What is functioning here? The transfer RNA starts functioning. Now transfer RNA, what is the function of transfer RNA? Transfer RNA starts reading the message which is there, or the code which is there in this codons. The transfer RNA reads the messages which is there in this codon. Okay, hope you have understood till here. Now here the transfer RNA reads this. So this is AUG I have written first because this is called as the initiation codon. This stands for methionine. This is standing for methionine. Okay. So this is called AUG is called as the initiation codon, and there will be there are other codon which actually terminates also, which ends that also. So but you don't have that much to understand, so just understand that I have started with AUG, so just for you to understand that this is the initiation codon. Okay, all of you. Now what is exactly happening now? Now we have understood transcription. The next stage is the translation. So translation means what? Translating, exactly translating, understanding it, reading it. Okay. So how to read it, how to understand it. Okay. So that is what is happening here. Hope you have understood this, all of you, till here. Everything is clear? Okay. Now we will do the next stage, that is the translation. Okay. Seeing is that what is happening here is that the transfer RNA has a complementary anticodon for the triplet codon. So the transfer RNA is having a complementary anticodon. So now this is called as anticodon. So the transfer RNA comes. So the transfer RNA is similarly, I am just showing you rough, because just we will take it as this way. Okay. So this is one transfer RNA, this is tRNA. So it carries one particular amino acid. So I am just showing this figure like this. One amino acid is brought. Okay. This tRNA is bringing an amino acid. Now this is having complementary nitrogenous base. So which is the complementary nitrogenous base here? Which one will it be? For adenine it will be uracil. For uracil it will be adenine, and for guanine it will be cytosine. So this transfer RNA is having UAC. So this is AUG, so this is UAC. So this is called as the anticodon. This is called anticodon. Hope you have understood this. And it is bringing one amino acid particularly for this AUG. So this particular amino acid is called as methionine. This is the first one. This is the initiation one. So this is called methionine. There are many more, lysine, leucine, like that I told you, 20 more are there. But you don't have to learn the names right now. So only understand that the tRNA is bringing one particular amino acid. Okay, and this is bringing the complementary nitrogenous bases. So here A is there, adenine is there. So actually thymine, but in RNA it is uracil. So uracil, adenine, guanine, cytosine. So it will be like this. So the shape is almost something like this, So here it is uracil, here it is adenine, and here it is. So this will come here. Okay, we can take it like this shape also, the three of those. Okay, and one like this. You can take it like this. So this one is the amino acid. Okay, hope you have understood till here. Huh? Now, leaving this amino acid, now this function is over. Okay, the function of this tRNA is over. So this will go away. Okay, leaving this particular amino acid here, this tRNA is going away. Now the next one will come. Okay, so next one will have again the complementary one. So like I told you, it will be the same like this shape I will show you. Okay, and it is having one amino acid. Okay, and so here it is U. So this will be having A, and this will be having C, and this will be having U. Okay, so this is like this. So this one comes. Okay, brings the what amino acid, leaves it here, and this one will also go away. Okay, understood? Now the next one comes. So the next one will also come like this. So when this process is going on, the ribosomal RNA, ribosome will move from one end of the triplet codon to the other end of the triplet codon. This is over, then it will go to the next one. Here also it will keep moving from here to here. When it is over, this will move to this one. It will keep moving from here to, from this end to this end, and here what is there? The next one is coming. So the next one I told you the same way. Now here C is there, so it will be G. Here A is there, so it will be U. Here C is there, so it will be G. So one more, this is brought. What is brought? Amino acid is brought, and the function is over, so this will also go away. Okay, this is also like that. It goes on continuing. The next one is brought. Now these amino acids are bonded together by peptide bonds. Okay, now this I told you, the ribosomal RNA keeps moving from one end of the triplet codon to the other end of the triplet codon till this is going on. So this movement of the ribosomal RNA, it is called as translocation. That is called as the translocation. Hope you have understood. So now this one is actually forming the, these are the amino acids are connected or bonded together by peptide bonds. So now once this amino acids, they form together, they join together by a peptide bond, and they form a particular type of protein. So this is how one particular type of protein is created. Hope you understood this, all of you. Okay, if you have doubts, you can come back to me. You can put a message there. You can tell me where I can improve and where I can explain to you in a better way. Whatever problems are there, you can just come back. Okay. Here, hope all of you have understood how this is formed, how the tRNA is functioning. So each tRNA is bringing one amino acid. After it comes here, the tRNA goes away, leaving the amino acid. The next tRNA comes, leaves the amino acid, goes away. When the tRNA is coming here, same time what is happening here, the ribosomal RNA is moving from one end of the triplet codon to the other end of the triplet codon till this function is there. So once this is finished, it will move to the next one. Then it will move to the next one. So this is called as translocation. This process of the movement of the ribosomes, it is called as the translocation. And this is called as the translation. This is called as the translation. Means the tRNA reads the codes, brings the anticodon. Anticodon, you know, this is just opposite to what is this. So that anticodon, this is called as anticodon. So they bring the anticodon, leave the amino acids and move away. So now what is formed? A chain of amino acids is formed, joined together by peptide bonds. Okay. So this chain of amino acids will form one single type of protein. So in this way protein is synthesized. Hope you have understood this, how the protein synthesis takes place.